Now, set against this stunning backdrop, this little Indigo eCS might be looking a little bit messy right now, but trust me, it's well deserved to be looking so rough and dirty right now because it's really been chomping on the miles. It's out for the Indigo eCS mileage and endurance run in association with Autocar India, and well, it's really done a lot. We're going to bring you up to speed with what all has been going on.
It all started from Mumbai on the 18th of February. The Indigo was aiming to hit the extreme-most points of the Indian subcontinent in a non-stop drive. First on the list was the westernmost point, nearly 1200 kilometers away, Koteshwar in Gujarat. From Koteshwar, the little Indigo turned its attention to the northernmost point, the city of Srinagar. It was an 1800 kilometer trek up for the Indigo to Jammu, and there we were waiting patiently to start our run to the northernmost point of the drive. The navigation ended up taking us through some very narrow gullies of Jammu, but soon we hit wider roads and looked forward to a clean run out of the city. But that wasn't to be. The highway was choked with heavy truck traffic. We were moving just a few feet every minute. That wasn't all. We also had to get a police stamp for our logbook. As it turned out, we got two bits of good news at one go. A police checkpost proved to be the bottleneck, and the officer in charge there signed the logbook for us. With that done, we hit the highway and kept driving till the sun peeped out. The drive was quite fatiguing as the truck traffic was incessant. And on the narrow two-lane highway, overtaking was tedious and tiring. But the sights as we climbed higher made up for it.
Now this is why I like coming to the mountains.
But we didn't have too much time for sightseeing.
We had quite an early start today, left at 5:15, which means we were up at 3:30, and well, we have to drive all the way to Srinagar, which is about 300 kilometers, and back. And it's about 11:30 right now. In the 6 odd hours that we've been on the road, we haven't really clocked much in terms of distance. So a lot more to do, and hopefully we make it back to Jammu. We were expected back at 8 o'clock. I don't think we're going to make it by 8, but hopefully no later than 10.
We had averaged little over 20 kilometers since starting off. Despite the rigors, the little Indigo eCS though was feeling anything but tired. The eCS with its common rail 1.5 litre engine was proving to be quite a surprise.
Pleasantly surprised with the Indigo eCS's motor. First and foremost, tractability. I've been doing a lot of this driving right now that I've done is uphill, and really solid uphill in a lot of stop-go traffic. The motor didn't feel wheezy, it didn't feel tired or lethargic, so that was really nice. That aside, the second aspect is the refinement. Now if I put my foot down right now, can you hear it? No? Well, that's because it's actually that quiet, and you do not get the vibes and the droning sensation of a diesel engine inside the cabin, and that's really great when you're doing a long drive like this.
As we clambered up to Patni Top, we were rewarded with spectacular views. The snow was piled on several feet high. The surroundings were all cloaked in white. We were just charged up looking at the scenery. It was easy to unwind just staring out of the window. Further down the highway, the rose-tinted glasses came off, as we saw firsthand the devastation that the landslides and avalanches had unleashed on the route and the motorists just a few days prior. We focused our attention on Jawar Tunnel and couldn't wait to cross over into the Kashmir Valley. While we were cheered at the thought of getting closer to Srinagar, things weren't getting any easier.
You can see these little drops here? That's rain, and it's coming down pretty constantly now. And the good news is, it makes the drive more exciting. The bad news is, it's past 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We've still not made it to Srinagar. We have to get there. We have to get that logbook signed at a police station there and then head back. We've also been told the Jawar Tunnel shuts early nowadays because of the rain and the snowstorms that have been happening. So we really have a lot ahead of us. We were supposed to get to Jammu, get back to Jammu by 8 p.m. I hope we make it there today.
The situation was quite desperate. The road was chock-a-block with traffic, and the 60-70 kilometers to Srinagar were just mind-numbing. We were exhausted, and the strain of the never-ending traffic was annoying to say the least. Even the stunning Dal Lake couldn't get me to loosen up.
Cars here, Dal Lake, getting the stamp, and we are heading right back to Jammu. A mountain to climb in terms of what we've got to do now.
With the stamp in our logbooks, we turn on our heels, hoping to make it back through Jawar Tunnel. We zip back towards the pass. A refueling session was in order. We didn't want to run out of fuel on the lonely road ahead. But that only added to the problem of making it in time for the 6 o'clock deadline.
Well, things have certainly not gone as planned. The Jawar Tunnel, as it turns out, is closed, and we have to wait until tomorrow morning when it opens to go through to Jammu again, which is well over 8 hours away, and we can't go back to Srinagar. We have to wait here by the side of the highway because there's a massive queue otherwise, and we'll waste a lot of time, and we've as it is lost a lot. So what we've done is parked on the side of the highway. It's -2 degrees outside and it's raining. We really don't know what's going to happen. But what we've done now is innovate. We've created our in-car theatre system, and hopefully we've got enough movies to last us until tomorrow morning.
The movie kept us distracted. There were no hotels, no warm clothes or warm food for us. We had nothing but chips and a few biscuits to eat, and of course our Indigo eCS to eat them in. Eventually, fatigue took over and we passed out. And thanks to the fuel in the tank, we could keep the heater running, and we slept surprisingly well until the wee hours of the morning.
It's past 3:30. We just got up a couple of minutes back to find that the truckers had already moved. So we just jumped in and started driving ourselves, figuring that the tunnel is open now and we could at least save some time now in terms of how late we get. But we're going to have to stick to a convoy, follow some vehicle ahead, because the conditions will be quite tricky considering there's snow, ice on the road, and the whole night it's been just sitting there with the rain coming down. We're just going to try and minimize risk as much as possible. Of course, now doing the driving duty is Devesh, and I'm chilling in the back seat.
But again, we were to be let down. And many hours later, we were still in the Kashmir Valley.
Well, since I last spoke to you guys, we've been on the highway now, just waiting for the tunnel to open, which supposedly had opened last night but hadn't. And everybody's queued up here, still not open because there's been a landslide on the other side, quite a few avalanches which they're trying to clear out. So as of now, the weather is really keeping us guessing as to what we need to do next.
Wind whipping around us, things certainly didn't seem promising. We were running 14 hours behind schedule and we didn't want it to get any worse. But it wasn't in our hands. By the time we were finally allowed up to the Jawar tunnel, we were almost a day behind schedule. Once we crossed over to the other side, it was a non-stop sprint towards Jammu. There was rain and small avalanches. We scampered through them all, intent on getting the eCS safe and sound back to Jammu.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for the nice applause. We do feel like conquerors having made it from Srinagar back to Jammu. Only 600 odd kilometers of the 13,000 kilometer drive that's going to be happening now. And the next team is ready to go. Mr. Chaco, Mr. Kakkar and Mr. Saxena. Guys, here are the keys. Hope you have a quicker, safer drive than we did.
Did you say 13,000?
Yeah. Enjoy. See you guys.
After Srinagar, the eCS chugged on to the easternmost point of India. It got a chance for rest only while hitching a ride across the Brahmaputra. Finally, it made it to Kibittu in Arunachal Pradesh, the easternmost point of India. Then from there it continued taking the rough with the smooth. The eCS even managed to return an astounding 41.4 km per litre on a fuel efficiency leg as we headed down to Chennai. Eventually we made it to Kanyakumari, the southernmost point of the drive. Finally it was time to point the eCS's nose towards home. 15 days after it started off from Mumbai, the Tata was ready to say hello to Mumbai. The Indigo returned to Mumbai with 14,000 kilometers of the mileage and endurance run tucked firmly under its belt. It certainly seemed to say, "I told you I could do it." Well, the Tata Indigo eCS certainly proved that it could handle the conditions no matter what.